Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. This is Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. So today I am reacting to the NFL's 2022 Super Bowl halftime show starring the Avengers of hip hop, the Avengers of gangsta rap, because it was lit. It was one of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. The only halftime show I would say this is on par with is Michael Jackson. And let me tell you why. Everything from the concept, the set design, the mixing, the transitions, the sound, everything was on point. Over $1 billion of hits and net worth on stage of all of the Avengers of gangsta rap combined, starring Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Anderson .Paak on the drums for Eminem. Like, it was completely insane. It was lit. And Dr. Dre showed that you don't have to just be one artist and do a set of 4 or 5 songs or whatever. He said, listen, I write songs, I write raps, I make beats, I make hits for other artists, including myself. Let me show you some of the work that I have done over the past 30 years. So do not be surprised if future artists take note of this, especially whenever the next Super Bowl is in New York and the New York rappers try to put something together like this as well. I am sure other artists are going to try to mimic this particular formula because it was smooth transitions of all of the artists to get all of their hits and things incorporated, and it was flawless. So right off of the bat, it is like white makeshift live 3D action dioramas is what the set reminded me of. And each room had its own theme. So there was like a room that was a theme that had the band, but it also had Snoop Dogg have a theme where if you watched Against the Wall, there was a transition of like a slideshow of like, there's one picture of like Snoop Dogg and his mother, and then there's like another picture of when Snoop Dogg transforms into an actual dog, like the like his actual music video. So that was slick. That kept flashing. There was another room that was featuring cheerleaders of all sizes that were just dancing the entire time. There was another room that was like the club type of theme room. Then there was another room that featured the male dancers. So very genius. And then the attention to detail was they had a theme for I believe it is Tammy's Burgers, which is a popular burger joint in California. They had like an LED light of that. They also had Eve After Dark on a marquee that had everybody's names of the performance because 50 Cent actually was a surprise appearance. He was not announced on the original announcement of who was going to be a part of the Super Bowl halftime show. So it was the details for me. And then there was also like a storefront of the barber shop, like just lots of attention to detail. And then it's surrounded by lights. And it's surrounded by lights because it's supposed to give a look into California if you were looking down on it from the plane, if you were looking down on it from above. You know how like you're about to land somewhere and you see like all of the lights at the bottom and you see all of the houses and all of the different developments looking like little squares and everything else. That was supposed to be kind of resemblant as an ode to California, as an ode looking down on LA and looking down on Compton and everything else. I thought it was genius. Very smart with the details and the LED lights and the different transitions and how on point and neat everything was. That was incredible. So let's get into the performances. So we start right off with Dr. Dre. He has, he's sitting down and he has like a makeshift studio that actually is resemblant of his real life studio in his mansion or whatever, because it's white as well. And it was fantastic. I loved every single detail and part of it. If he was live mixing, that is GOAT. That is just GOAT material. GOAT material right there. So then the beat drops for the first song, which is the next episode. So it's already lit. Him and Snoop Dogg, doing their raps for the next episode. And I love the transition after that into California Love. Dr. Dre only did his verse as well as the chorus. He did not, play or incorporate Tupac's part, but that's okay. I just know when California Love dropped, everybody went crazy. Everybody lost their minds. Everybody, you could just hear it in the crowd. It just took it up an extra notch, an extra level, because if you've ever been to any NBA or sporting event or NFL game or anything, especially if you're going in Cali, this is the theme song. This is their theme song whenever you're in California. But they play it at so many sporting events. They play it everywhere. They play it at the club still. They play it everywhere to get the people going, to get the people moving. So it was great that they incorporated that in the beginning because it got the crowd hyped. So I was here for it. And so then it was slick because Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, they would move throughout these different live diorama storefront rooms that were slick. At one point, Snoop Dogg was down in the room with the bands that had, his pictures and everything else. Then there was a point where Dr. Dre was down there and he was dancing with the male dancers a little bit. And then they kept going up on top of these diorama live 3D storefronts that I just felt was slick. It was really incredible because it's really trying to feature different parts of California, some of their popular hotspots, some of the popular storefronts, and things that you would know if you are a Cali native. So I felt the attention to detail was flawless. And so after they performed California Love and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg again got back on top, they pointed down, and down comes 50 Cent. And he comes up upside down, just like the music video for In the Club. And it was so slick because Barstool Sports, they did a side-by-side that 50 Cent turns into $1. And they did a side-by-side from when 50 Cent is upside down in the music video, as well as 50 Cent being upside down in this Super Bowl halftime performance. And I actually rewatched it because I actually saw when 50 Cent he's using a pull-up to actually pull himself up and then hang upside down rapping. So that was slick. That was genius. Loved every part of it. So 50 Cent comes down. He's rapping In the Club and everything else. So it is amazing. It is incredible. I loved it. He had the club theme. He was in the club theme storefront diorama and, had all the dancers, and it was just slick. I loved every component of it. And so after 50 Cent's performance, we then go back to the top, and then we get into the dancers. They're all in glittery silver and everything else. They're blinging. And we get Mary J. Blige, who starts off with Family Affair. It is lit. It is incredible. Everybody is hype because, of course, that is one of Dr. Dre's productions of one of the biggest hits of Mary J. Blige's career. So it was everything. Now, Mary J., she looked fantastic. She looked incredible. I loved her outfit. She looks amazing. Everybody looked great for their age. Everybody looks incredible. Everybody sounded fantastic live. There was no lip syncing. Everybody was on point. And so then I loved it because there was rumors that Mary J. Blige only was performing one song. And I figured it would be Family Affair because that's the song that Dr. Dre did for her. But then I was surprised because then the dancers left where she was performing, and she was up there by herself, and then she was singing No More Drama live, giving us vocals, giving us a cappella, just giving us everything. And I loved the No More Drama because think about it, you're in LA, you are in, Hollywood, the spotlight, everything else, and it's the theme song that, Young and the Restless plays, which is also, drama. It's filmed in, CBS Studios in LA, in Burbank, I believe. So it is just incredible, just the attention to detail and everything else, that how carefully they chose these songs, because to be honest with you, all of them could have chose anything because they had so many hits. They each could all do their own Super Bowl halftime show individually because that's how many hits that they have. But I like the flow. I love the theme of it. And then at the end of No More Drama, Mary J. Blige, she like falls out, and right on beat, right on cue, and it's gonna be a popular meme where you just fall out at the end because you sang your heart out, you gave vocals, you gave live music and everything. So I know that is going to be a popular meme that's probably gonna replace the Whoopi Goldberg meme when she's like laying down, she falls on the ground. That's probably gonna, Mary J. Blige is probably gonna replace that from this Super Bowl. So I felt that was slick. So next, we transition into Kendrick Lamar. And so Kendrick Lamar, he is basically, it's like a group of black men. All of their head is like shaved blonde and blonde beards or blonde mustaches. And they're in all black, and they have on black sashes that say Dre Day on it. And then they all are in these boxes, makeshift live boxes that say Dre Day. And then they like pop out, and then pops out Kendrick Lamar, and then he starts rapping, and then he goes into his song, All Right. And so I guess he was going for maybe a political theme and singing All Right because he has bigger hits. Like he could have done Humble, he could have done Swimming Pools, he could have done Poetic Justice. I was expecting to hear one of those instead of All Right, but I guess he was going with, you know, the political theme, the Black Panther theme, the black men were stepping, they were, you know, dancing and everything else. And then I found it interesting because they either bleeped out or Kendrick Lamar didn't say popo, and so I found that interesting that part wasn't included. But yeah, so he just did the one song, and then after that, it was nice because, again, shout out to Dr. Dre and these interludes. So then there was an interlude to Forgot About Dre, and I knew immediately that like Eminem was coming up next. And then you start to see the different transitions of the dancers because for the most part, you know, they all had different themes and then they all had different things that came together when everybody was performing. And if you'll notice, everybody for the most part danced inside of the diorama 3D makeshift storefront rooms. But once Eminem performed, you know, you hear the beat, you hear, you know, the Forgot About Dre lyrics, you see everybody sitting down in hoodies around the lighted makeshift of, you know, overlooking LA, overlooking California and everything else. And then in pops out Eminem, and like it looks like it kind of like breaks a couple of things off the building or breaks like a fence, and he like pops out, and then they like do like a chopped and screwed of like the verse of the chorus of Forgot About Dre, and I thought that was slick. Then from there we transition right into Lose Yourself, and everybody goes crazy, everybody loses their mind, everybody is hyped because, you know, the people, the demographics that are at this Super Bowl, they're like, yay, that's Eminem. We know Eminem. So it was completely lit. And so he's saying, lose yourself. And so that was when, for the first time in the performance, that everybody that was sitting down surrounding the 3D storefronts, they all rushed to where Eminem was performing on top of the storefront that he was at. And it was like a mosh pit. And so then we got to go back up because where Eminem did his performance was also where Dr. Dre had his makeshift studio, as well as, you know, the piano player, and then as well as, you know, your bass and guitar players. But then we also had Anderson .Paak make an appearance, and he was playing the heck out of those drums. And I was so happy for him to have this opportunity to be on the Super Bowl and be in front of hundreds of millions of people all over the world to showcase his talent. And he just looked like he was having a complete blast. And he was so excited at the end of Eminem's performance. He was saying, let's go. He like shot it up. He was hype. And it was just incredible. And then in the middle of Eminem's performance of Lose Yourself, they then go down to the different storefronts, and 50 Cent and Mary J. Blige, aka Monet and Kanan, they're sitting in the first storefront on the couch, just vibing, just bumping their heads and dancing and grooving, and it was just slick. Like, again, the attention to detail, the attention to everything that, you know, made all of this come together was incredible. And so at the end of Lose Yourself, from there we then had another transition, and Dr. Dre, like, he switched places with the gentleman who was playing the piano, and he plays like the interlude of Tupac's song "I Ain't Mad at Ya," and then the studio kind of the storefront that he's above, it like rises like it did in the beginning, and that's when I knew we were heading into the finale. We were heading into the final song, because it's kind of like a makeshift studio where you can see like platinum plaques and gold plaques and things like that in the background of that particular storefront. So I knew we were heading into the finale and the final song once that storefront came back up, because that was back where Dr. Dre had started the performance. And so then, he was playing I Ain't Mad at Ya, and I was like, well, maybe this is where Tupac's going to come out. Maybe this is where Tupac hologram is going to appear. But unfortunately, it was not. And for those of you not familiar with I Ain't Mad at You, it is a sample of the DeBarge's song, A Dream. So it is just incredible. I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs by the DeBarges. But so he just played the melody to that as part of like one of a couple of tributes that took place to Tupac in the Super Bowl halftime performance. And so then after that particular interlude, we went into the finale. We went into the final song. And so the final song was, of course, still DRE. So then that was when, everybody, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, like everybody made it at the top of, the storefront so that they could be a part of the finale. And as Dr. Dre was, doing the final performance for Still DRE. And I loved it because then you got to see it all come back together of the theme of LA, the theme of Compton, and you had all of the dancers then run out, and they were all in their Dickies, they were all in the oversized white t-shirts, and the hats on their heads and everything else, and the shoes, like it was all true to the theme, as well as showcasing more the three old school Impalas. It was just so many attention to detail, just very flawless, very amazing, very incredible. I was just amazed because what I liked most about this performance was that it wasn't over the top with like pyrotechnics or, all this, craziness and everything else. Like everybody just sang or rapped their raw talent and sang it live or rapped it live or whatever. And it was lit. And it really just gave so much more to the performances when that happened. So it was just really incredible. I enjoyed every moment of it. I enjoyed the synchronization of the different dancers and the different themes and how they were coordinated with each artist and each theme of each song. I thought that was genius, to kind of bring all of that together and have all of those people together to pull this show off. Kudos to everybody that was a part of this performance, everybody that put this together. Also, I wanted to add, I know it's going to be a big story because other people are already talking about it, is Eminem took a knee at the end of the performance of his performance of Lose Yourself, as well as when Dr. Dre was playing the interlude to I Ain't Mad at You. I know that's going to be a headline story, taking the knee as, either an ode to Colin Kaepernick or what have you. I already know that's going to be all over all of the shows tomorrow, Eminem taking that knee. So definitely people are already talking about that now. Also, another thing, at the end, the very, 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 very end of Still DRE, the end, Dr. Dre and everybody, they were acknowledging the crowd, the Avengers, they were all standing, the Avengers of gangster rap, the Avengers of hip hop, they were all standing at top, and then at one point, Dr. Dre and a couple other people, they all pointed up to the sky. And so then it looked as though a hologram of some sort of the back of Tupac basically looking down, I'm guessing from heaven, to see this performance as like a little tribute to Pac. Because of course Dr. Dre and Pac were extremely close and everything else. So I love that. I love that he incorporated two songs that featured Tupac as well as at the end, kind of like an homage, trying to make it as though Tupac was looking down on them and looking at this performance of this particular halftime show. So kudos to them. Kudos to everybody that was responsible for this. and put all of this together. This is not, something that's easy, and they executed this, flawlessly. And I love, like I said, the attention to detail, the attention of keeping it true to LA, to Compton, to everything that California is about their brand and their culture, and, including specific, restaurants, barbershops, storefronts, the donut shop, like everything that anybody that's been to LA or that's familiar with LA or that lives in LA or that's from LA would know right off of the bat. So kudos to that. Kudos to, the costumes. Kudos to everything. Everything was on point, and they did an amazing job. And I know people are going to be streaming the heck out of this, when it's all said and done. And, Tupac overlooking with like the fireworks and everything else, just kind of put the nice little bow on top of it. Please let me know your guys' thoughts. What did you guys think about this Super Bowl performance? What was your favorite part? Overall, I loved all of it for the most part. Honestly, the only couple of things I would say, I wish Kendrick either did a different song. He either did, Don't Kill My Vibe, Poetic Justice, or Swimming Pools. I felt that would have been great. Also, I was a little concerned. I was trying to, figure out why there wasn't like an NWA part of it, but Kendrick Lamar did shout out NWA in his performance. But the biggest question mark for me was, where was Ice Cube? Did anybody see Ice Cube? Where was he? Why was he not a part of the Super Bowl? Does anybody know? Like where was he? Where was he? Because he is very much, as been a part of, everything with Dr. Dre for the past 30 years as well. And he is nowhere to be found anywhere on this Super Bowl set, of this halftime performance set. So I was very confused about that, because he's all LA as well. So I don't know if it was just mainly supposed to be about Dr. Dre and, some other things, or maybe just incorporating a couple of artists that he has, worked for, produced, and wrote, and, did all this stuff for. But it just didn't make sense to me with the history that Dr. Dre and Ice Cube had, especially with Ice Cube also being LA and everything else, that he was nowhere to be found at all. So I'm very curious on what that was, if that was just maybe an oversight, or if they just felt like maybe this was just all the time that they had for a performance or whatever, because they definitely could have did an NWA song as well and had like Eazy-E's son perform as well with, Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, and did like a song, did like Express Yourself or something. Like, I was just surprised that there was like, it was just like nothing. It was like, well, wait a minute, this is missing Ice Cube. Like, where is Ice Cube? That was really my only complaint. That and Kendrick Lamar's song choice. But as far as everything else, I love the live singing. I see they made it a point to make sure that they had the appropriate words and cuss words that they were not allowed to say or get fined for. They made sure that that was not incorporated so that they didn't get fined or there wasn't any drama with that, from the FCC or what have you. So kudos to them for, keeping it radio version for all of the songs, but I loved everything. It was a throwback. It felt like it was back in, high school. Like I was just jamming because it was just all on point. So I loved all of it. And everybody so far that I've talked to, like my family, my friends, like everybody just loves this and says this was one of the greatest Super Bowl performances that they have seen. So, but yeah, just let me know your guys' thoughts. Please react. What did you guys think of this? What did you like? What did you dislike? Did you guys notice all of the different details as you were watching it on the first, airing of it, or did you have to go back and look at certain details and see that? Because I noticed everything like right away, and I was like, wow, this is really incredible. Like they really made it a point to include specific things, specific details that only a person who's ever been to California would know, or that is from California and lives there would know. So I loved all of it. Just fantastic all the way around. We are still waiting for the Detox album, Dr. Dre. Whenever you want to release that album, that seems to, keep, you know, being like the elephant in the room of whenever this last album's gonna come out. But again, kudos to everybody. Everybody was jamming. Now people are posting on social media kind of like all the different celebrities that were dancing, like J-Lo and Beyonce and Kelly Rowland. Like everybody was just jamming, getting lit. Like they were enjoying this. They were really enjoying, you know, everybody's performances. So it was just really incredible. And like I said at the beginning, other artists, do not be surprised if they are going to do something similar to this for future Super Bowls, where there's going to be like a group of people and they'll try to do like a medley, like each person does like 1 or 2 songs of some sort, and it'll be similar to the way Dr. Dre did this. Do not be surprised when that happens, because we are going to refer back to this as being the blueprint for other artists that do it. So do not be surprised if that happens. But please let me know your guys' thoughts. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please do not forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified the moment that I post new content on this channel. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys again very soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the performance, and react and let me know what you guys think. I will talk to you guys again soon.